New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science. With Reverend Joy Fletcher, Reverend Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Divine Science Everywhere. I'm Reverend Joy Fletcher, and currently one of the ways, or some of the ways that I express ministry is as president of the Divine Science Ministers Association. And I also work as a bereavement coordinator at a hospice company, and I am a death doula. And with me is Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Hey,
Jeff.
Hey, I'm Reverend Jeff, and you will find me here helping to co-host Divine Science Everywhere on Friday afternoons. I'm also, I've been designated the official introducer of our guests, and so I'm really excited to do that in just a little while. Also, you will find me on Friday evenings on New Thought Media Network with Reverend Michael Mangus, and we host Friday Fireside Chat, and that's at 7 o'clock Eastern. No, that's 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So there's that. And I get to sit next to this guy over here. Well, he's on my side. I don't know what side you see him on. That's Bishop Durrell.
Reverend Jeff is also, he has Giatti Ministries, and you can find that on Facebook, and that's a daily interactive sort of thing. So don't forget to check him out on Facebook. It's also available for personal spiritual counseling, prayer work, and whatnot. And I am Bishop Durrell Watkins, the senior minister of the Sunshine Cathedral, sunshinecathedral.org. I'm the current president of the Divine Science Federation, and you can learn about us at divinesciencefederation.org. I'm an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute. I'm the dean of the Samaritan Institute, a religious education and divine science ministerial training school. I also want you to know that DSFI, Divine Science Federation International, and the Divine Science Ministers Association are having a retreat on the sea in November. Inside cabins start at just $300, and upgrades, of course, are available. Drink packages are available. It starts at just $300, but you can get it, better and better and better. And there's still some cabins, not as many as there were a few months ago, obviously, but there are still some cabins available, but not for long. So if you'd like to join us, we're going to do divine science work. We're going to pray. We're going to learn. And that's while we're, on the boat. Of course, there's also casinos and shows and all that good stuff. But then when we are at ports, we're going to go out and be on the beach. We're going to see towns. We're going to enjoy the Bahamas. So it's a little bit of prayer work. It's a little bit of play. It's a lot of just being together and enjoying one another. So if that sounds good to you, and it's certainly affordable, then you can go to divinesciencefederation.org/events to book your spot today. And now it's back to the person whose great idea, whose divine idea, Divine Science Everywhere is, Reverend Joy, who starts us every week with a time of centering.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And Rumi wrote, "When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy." So friends, as we come together in this sacred moment, let us pause and turn inward, remembering that we are each created in the likeness of the divine. At the very core of our being is truth. Authenticity is not something we earn or manufacture. It is who we already are. Our journey is simply the unfailing, the releasing of masks, the shedding of fears, until what remains is the radiant essence of spirit expressing uniquely as us. To live authentically is to listen deeply to that still, small voice within, and to have the courage to listen and to follow the inner guidance. This authenticity is not only a gift we give ourselves, it is a world that we give to each other and to the world. When we show up as our true selves, we affirm to others that we too are safe and free to live in the fullness of who they are. Our authenticity becomes a beacon, a mirror, a gentle invitation. And when we live from that soul-centered place, we feel the river Rumi speaks of, the joy moving through us, carrying us into service, into compassion, into love. Authenticity is inseparable from service. For when we are living as our truest selves, we discover that our lives are not only for us, they are for each other. The divine does not create in isolation, it creates in harmony. And in being who we truly are, we discover that our gifts are not ours to hoard, to hide, but ours to share. Imagine the ripple effect. A person who embraces their own truth brings courage to others. A heart that beats in compassion strengthens the bonds of community. A life offered in service becomes a bridge of hope. Even a simple act of presence, a kind word, a listening ear, a hand outstretched becomes holy ground when it rises from authenticity. And so today, breathing into this awareness that being true to ourselves is an act of love. It is an act of reverence for that spark of divinity within each of us. It is also a sacred responsibility, for when we shine, others see the way forward. When we embody truth, others feel safe enough to do the same. When we live in authenticity, our service becomes not duty, but joy. So breathing into this awareness, feel the rise of your chest, the filling of your lungs, the gift of life moving through you. And as you exhale, release every mask, every pretense, every burden of needing to be anything other than who you are in this holy moment. Breathe again slowly and deeply. With every breath in, feel the wholeness of spirit filling you. With every breath out, let go of self-doubt, fear, and the need for approval. Rest for a moment in the truth that you are enough. You are loved. You are safe to be yourself. Now imagine that truth shining as light within you, at the center of your being, radiant and steady. This light is your authenticity, the divine expressing uniquely as you. With each breath, see it glowing brightly, expanding beyond your body, filling the room, touching those around you, and beyond. And now envision this light moving beyond this space, rippling outward into your family, your community, your world. Wherever your light reaches, it awakens courage, compassion, and hope in others. In simply being true to yourself, you serve the greater whole. Take one more deep breath. Anchoring yourself in this awareness. You are a unique and unrepeatable expression of love. Your authenticity is your gift, and your service is your joy. And perhaps affirm to yourself, I embrace my authenticity as the purest gift of spirit. In living true to myself, I serve the world with love, courage, and joy. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Amen. It's almost enough to make an Episcopalian shout. What I love about our meeting every week is that we do so much in an hour. We have this focused meditation, time of centering and prayer and visioning. It's so powerful. It's just a moment of worship, actually. And then we visit the past, looking at some of our ancestors who led the way. And then we talk to one of our living greats among us. And that's how the majority of the show is. And so I just love this hour. I look forward to it every week, and I hope you do too. Well, my joy, of course, each week is to talk about New Thought luminaries. I usually offer you a divine science sandwich. I start with a divine scientist, I end with a divine science, and I squeeze in other New Thoughters in the middle. But today, sort of an open sandwich. I'm going to end with divine science. And the first three actually predate the New Thought movement, and yet they are huge contributors to it. So first, let's talk about Socrates, the Greek philosopher Socrates. He died in the year 399 BCE, before the Common Era, at the age of 70. Mm-hmm. He believed in the mind-body connection. He said, quote, "One ought not to attempt to cure the body without the soul," end quote. And soul there, of course, is the English translation of the Greek word psyche, which is mind, thoughts, feelings, memories, all of that. So one ought not to attempt to cure the body without the psyche. He also believed in the continuity of life beyond the death of the body. Rather than focusing on the Greek gods of his time, Socrates believed in tending to an inner voice. So instead of all of these outside deities, he believed there was one power, and that power communicated to us from within us. He was executed by poison, but said, "You can kill my body, but you cannot kill me." The story of a noble teacher who is executed but who cannot stay dead is also found, of course, in the Christian Gospels. The next person I want to remind us of is Plato. Now, Plato died in the year 347 before the Common Era, BCE, at the age of 80. These ages are incredible for their time. When people, now they had the luxury, they had the privilege of being academics, and so they didn't have, they weren't serfs, they weren't working themselves to death, and yet still, people who live beyond 40 or 50 were pretty rare. And so Socrates lived to 70, Plato to 80. Plato taught that there was a definite energy that emerged out of the cosmic nothingness of mind. These people are before Jesus. These people are before the Common Era. These people are before the Roman Empire. And it sounds like they're Ernest Holmes. It sounds like they're Charles Fillmore. It sounds like they're Melinda Kramer, right? I just love that so much. Plato suggested that this energy was the product of thought, and it resulted in ideas which precede manifest form. The idea precedes manifestation. There's mind, idea, and manifestation. The idea precedes the form. In fact, Plato believed ideas were the source of life, purpose, and meaning. He believed souls, self-aware consciousness, pre-existed before their human incarnation, and that they came to this life with prior knowledge and with a purpose. He believed that everything existed in relation to its resemblance to a universal form. These ideas are hundreds of years before Jesus. Isn't that amazing? Aristotle died in 322 before the Common Era. He only made it to 62, but still in that time, he was an old guy. Aristotle believed that the universe is governed by spiritual law. Have you ever heard that before? He defined God as the first cause and the final cause of all being. Believing in the perfection of God, Aristotle also believed that everything in the world aspires to share in that divine perfection. Now, let's fast forward to the actual day of New Thought, where we find that New Thought isn't new at all. We have just been in the before the Common Era, before Christ, hearing all these New Thought philosophies and ideas. There's nothing new about New Thought. What is new is our rediscovery of it, our application of it. It's new to us, but these truths are timeless. They've been around forever. Truth is truth. Truth doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have a shelf life. It doesn't have an end. So we have discovered it anew, but there's nothing new about it. Emma Curtis Hopkins died in 1925 at the age of 76, quite old, even in the first quarter of the 20th century. That always impresses me when people sort of outlive what is expected, because I always think of that as one more demonstration. People who prosper in difficult times, people who outlive expectations, people who find joy in the midst of very difficult times. These are always these inspire me. These show me that the principles work. So Emma Curtis Hopkins, she was a student of Mary Baker Eddy, and for a time she was an editor of the Christian Science Journal. But Emma and Mrs. Eddy eventually had a parting of the ways. For all of her wisdom, Mrs. Eddy apparently was difficult to work with. That was not just Emma's experience. So they had a parting of the ways, and Emma started her own seminary in Chicago. Now, she called her work Christian Science for a while. Mary Baker Eddy called her work sometimes Divine Science. These words were all interchangeable in the beginning. They didn't become proprietary until later. But Emma Curtis Hopkins, a student of Mary Baker Eddy, an employee and co-worker of Mary Baker Eddy, went independent, started her own seminary in Chicago. And at that seminary, she taught students who would become the greats of New Thought, including Helen Wilmans. I have a soft spot. She was part of the mental science movement. I have a great soft spot for Helen Wilmans. She was actually prosecuted because her healing work was so effective, she was prosecuted for practicing medicine without a license. People were angry that folks were getting well and getting strong and getting better and getting happy. So she was basically healing through the mail. People would send requests, she'd pray for them, do prayer treatment work for them, and they'd get better. And she actually was attacked for that. But now in the 21st century, people are rediscovering her work and discovering she knew what she was talking about. Well, she was a student of Emma Curtis Hopkins. And the other students of hers were Myrtle and Charles Fillmore. Another student of her was a Mrs. Bingham, who introduced metaphysical healing to the Brooks sisters, our own Divine Science Brooks sisters. Annie Ricks Millets, the founder of the Home of Truth, she was a student of Emma's. And briefly, later in life, Ernest Holmes studied with Ernest. Now, he was already Ernest. He didn't get it from Emma. He was already Ernest. He was a divine science minister who then started religious science with the help of his divine science minister, previously a congregational minister, Fenwick Holmes. But just for the joy of it, got to spend some time being personally mentored after he was already very successful by Emma. So even Ernest Holmes got in on it at the end. Because of her influence over the founders of so many New Thought groups, Emma Curtis Hopkins is often called the teacher of teachers. And finally, this is the open sandwich. This is the divine science slice of bread. Helen Brungart. She died in 1998, pretty recently, actually, at the age of 67. She was a New Thought minister. Her life, it just parallels so many of ours at this time. She was sort of a precursor to who many of us are now. She was a New Thought minister with training in and connections to Rosicrucian spirituality, science of mind, unity, Kriya Yoga, and divine science. How much do I love her? She only wrote 2 or 3 books, but her experience was so ecumenical and so diverse, like so many of ours. I took the Science of Mind classes. The first New Thought church I ever attended, and the first one I ever spoke in, was a Unity church. I was initiated into the Kriya Yoga meditation system by Roy Eugene Davis, a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. I am a divine science minister. Isn't that's who we are? And divine science in particular, we're so ecumenical. We're so, if it's truth, it's truth. We're not very proprietary. We don't make you jump through a lot of hoops. We just want you practicing it and loving it to make the world better. And Helen Brungart was a great example of that. She was the minister of Symphony of Life Church in New Mexico, and she was a member and speaker, frequent speaker, at the International New Thought Alliance. So one of those great examples of divine science where we sometimes get lost in the mix because we embrace the mix. But she's another one of those great divine scientists that didn't limit truth or expression to any particular tradition or name. She embraced it all, practiced it all, and demonstrated it all. And so for me, that makes her one of our heroes. Well, that's the past. Now we're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to get to the future. I mean, to the present, leading into the future, with a great New Thought leader. If you know him, you already love him. If you don't know him, you're about to love him. You're going to learn some things too. But before we get to our special guest, let me remind you, this is Divine Science Everywhere on the New Thought Media Network.
We're back. Welcome back to Divine Science Everywhere. And I am very excited. Oh, first, before we get to our guest, just one quick little addendum to the teacher of teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins. This past Tuesday was her 176th birthday. So wherever she is in her afterlife, I hope she's having a hell of a good time.
Yes, she is.
176, she's earned it.
Yeah.
So this is really cool for me because I get to meet new people, but some people I've been friends with, and I've been friends with Dr. Jerry Troyer for a while now. Did not get the opportunity to meet him face to face and spend time with him until 2022, when I found out just what an awesome person he is. He and his late husband found New Thought in 1992. He served as senior minister for the New Thought Center for Creative Living in San Diego from 2007 up through 2016. He was ordained in 2009. He holds a bachelor's, master's, and a doctorate from Emerson Theological Institute. Dr. Jerry also currently serves as board president of the affiliated New Thought Network. That is a membership organization of Unity, CSL, Divine Science, and other New Thought centers and churches, as well as individuals who are in the movement. He's also a founding board member and currently director of relationship development for Urban Street Angels, an organization in San Diego County that works to end youth homelessness by providing bridge housing, employment, and life skills training. And these are homeless transition age youth, ages 18 to 24. Jerry also is the author of the acclaimed book, Coming Out to Ourselves, Admitting, Accepting, and Embracing Who You Are, Who We Truly Are. And aside from the administrative and humanitarian work that he does, he has a fun side. I've got to see a little bit of it. He holds an annual pass to Disneyland, and he's been there several times a year. He goes all the time, it seems like. Every time I turn around, he's posting pictures from Disneyland. He and his partner Oliver go to visit Mickey and Minnie. Jerry lives in San Diego in that area with his golden retriever Maggie, and he has a son Brandon and some grandchildren in Oregon who I pray you get to see as often as you do Mickey and Minnie. Yep. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Jeff. Thanks, everybody. So great to be with you. Thanks so much for the Anson commercial just before this. We appreciate that very much.
So I'm always the one who's more interested in how you got to where you are right now. So let's start at the beginning with finding New Thought. How did that unfold for you?
So in about in about 1991, my late husband was in nursing school and then was working as a nurse part-time through an agency, and met this young woman. She and her partner, we got together, we traveled together, we visited, we had meals together, became fast friends, and they attended the New Thought Center for Creative Living, this New Thought church in San Diego. We did not, and their lives worked, and ours didn't. And so they kept saying, well, you should come to church with us. And we said, yeah, we'll have to do that. And you should come to church with us. And we said, yeah, we'll have to do that. And finally we said, fine, we'll go. And never left. So Reverend Dr. Marilyn Hall, one of the pioneers and founders of Anson, was the senior minister for this center in San Diego. And we walked in and said, oh my God, no pun intended, here we are. So my late husband was Jerry also. So Jerry and I went through first and second year classes, practitioner. He stopped at that, and then I went on and got my ministerial license, and then took over the center when Dr. Marilyn retired in 2007. And continued to serve. And then we wound up moving a couple of times, and the center wound up dissolving in about 2016. So that's where it started. And during this time, it was kind of the birthing experience of Anton, the affiliated New Thought Network. So I've been involved in conversation only, but then more actively involved with Anton really since I also found New Thought. So all of these years, yeah.
Wow. And are you pastoring now, or are you just doing guest speaking?
So I am licensed through Centers for Spiritual Living, but I am not a staff minister, not ordained, just licensed, which is fine, thank you. So I speak at OM Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, so east of downtown San Diego, once a month, and then also get to travel around and guest speak and do workshops. 2 weeks ago, I was in Burlington, Vermont. Last weekend, I was in New York City and got to guest speak. And the workshop that I do, and my favorite one, is about allowing ourselves to experience grief and loss and change without covering it up with toxic positivity and spiritual bypass. So allowing ourselves to have this human experience as spiritual beings.
Very cool. And
we talk about that a lot on here about sometimes we give ourselves guilt and shame for having feelings of guilt, yes, or of shame or loss or sadness, but that's part of the human experience, and it's part of the healing experience. And I think sometimes at New Thought we cut ourselves short by not letting ourselves be real about that. I miss this experience, I miss this person, I miss this time, and I'm not going to get better until I grieve that and move through it.
Yes. Yeah, one of my favorite authors, Debbie Ford, wrote, "What we can't be with won't let us be." And so we have to allow ourselves to be with that and not cover it up with this, everything's in divine order, it's all good, everything is as it should be. All of that is absolutely true, but we also have to allow ourselves to feel those feelings. Yes. Yeah, so that's a big part of my ministry, because that was really a struggle for me when Jerry died in 2018. Giving myself permission to come down off my high horse and allow myself to feel what I was feeling. Yeah.
And that's funny, because I think this is it's a part of being authentic, and we've addressed this with other guests before. A lot of New Thought ministers want to polish up themselves and present their best face. Me, on the other hand, I live it full out, and people see that I have struggles just like they do. They see that I have issues just like they do. They hear the 4 little words once in a while. It's all part of that authenticity. So thank you for sharing the grief work that you've done. And I've heard you share about Jerry's passing, and a very touching thing to know that you have been in the depths with the rest of us. I mean, we all are. I mean, we're all down here together, but it's just some people are just not willing to admit that part of themselves to the world. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, and it is truly my honor. And of course, when we as leaders express what we're expressing and allow ourselves to feel it and talk about it, we give other people the permission to do the same.
Yes. I agree. I love the work that you're doing with homeless teens. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Twist my arm. So I am speaking to you from downtown San Diego, the main headquarters for Urban Street Angels. So we started 13 years ago as an outreach of the Disciples of Christ Church in northern San Diego area. And our founder was the senior minister there, and they would take sack lunches out to homeless people in Ocean Beach, which is one of the areas right on the water in San Diego. And one day, Eric was talking with this young man, and he said, "Well, I appreciate the sack lunch and the socks, but what I really need is a place to sleep." So he began creating this nonprofit organization separate from the church's ministry. Right at this same time, my church was looking for some nonprofit to support. And so, as coincidence would have it, and of course there is no such thing, we found Eric, and so became fast friends. We donated about 1,000 pairs of socks to his work, and then he asked me to come on board as a founding board member. So I've been around since the very beginning. So started with 3 young people couch surfing at his apartment. Then he found a larger apartment to rent, then a house, then another house, then another house. And here we are 13 years later. There are 70 young people living between 4 and 9 months in this location downtown San Diego. We have about 75 in La Mesa out in East County, and last month opened another facility in North County with 16 beds.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So I love to say that last night, about 150 homeless young people had a nutritious meal, a warm and safe place to sleep, and hope because of one of our programs. And as you can tell, I get a little emotionally involved.
You're like
you're a
landing. Yeah, absolutely.
A safe landing. That's what you're offering people.
Yes,
and that's all you need sometimes. 2, 3, 4, 6 months just to figure it out. But you can't do that if you need the next meal or if whatever. So you're offering a safe landing spot for people to just take the time to figure it out. That is so important.
Yes.
Even with all of this ICE craziness, sometimes we make it very clear in our churches. The sanctuary is open to the public. My office is not. So if people need safety, come to my office, close the door, so they can call someone and say, "Can you pick up my dog?" Like sometimes just time to figure it out makes all the difference.
Yes.
You're offering that to apparently hundreds of young people at a time. That's sometimes prayer looks like 5 or 6 steps, and sometimes prayer looks like doing a thing.
Feet and heart.
Doing a thing, yes.
Right.
And so you're praying with your life and with your resources and with your time, and I think those prayers are sometimes the most effective.
Thank you. I agree. So, and just so you know, so these are homeless 18 to 24-year-olds who have aged out of foster care and had no place to go, or came out to the family as LGBTQ and were kicked out of the house, or were in an abusive home situation and had no home to stay in and wound up either couch surfing at a friend's house or potentially sleeping in a carport.
Yeah.
So those are the young people.
If you're not going to be rolled tonight, you're going to have breakfast in the morning. Sometimes that's just enough to work it out.
Yes.
And you're giving that to people, and that's amazing. That's amazing.
And if I may, it's important that these kids have a place to be while they get this together. I see on social media, I'll see people talking about homeless people, and been there, done that. Okay. So I know whereof I speak. People will say stupid shit like, "Oh, just get a job." Well, you can't get a job if you don't have an address.
Right.
You can't get a job if you don't have clean clothes.
Right.
You need these foundational things, and
if the job you can get is 30 hours a week at $8 an hour, but rent starts at $1,400 and it needs first and last month to begin with, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't get a job without the infrastructure, and you're providing that infrastructure, that social infrastructure, and that is very important.
And the hope.
All the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
So transition age youth. So we're transitioning from adolescence to adulthood. Brain is not always fully developed yet. So sometimes they need that extra support and guidance. So all the youth in all of our programs have a case manager, a peer support person, and some other support staff to help them move along, and sometimes push them just a little, because this is pretty cushy and it's comfortable, and maybe I'll just hang out here for a few months. No, that's not the purpose of this. The purpose is for you to be okay today so that we can help you move forward into the next chapter of your life.
And I just flashed on the 80s TV show, The Facts of Life. Tell me, do you all have a Mrs. Garrett as like a house mother for these places?
I think it's Reverend Dr. Jerry Garrett.
Yeah. And I will admit with great joy that I am the oldest one on the staff. Thank you very much. But not one specific mother or father, but a lot of support from program staff, again, from case managers, from peer support people, all of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
So what's really cool is this is absolutely part of my ministry, because I get to talk to the youth on a regular basis and give them some new thought ideas without them recognizing what I'm giving them, because they come in with, my roommate or, my job or whatever. So how could we reframe that conversation? How could we look at that a different way? How could you focus on moving your focus from what it was to what you'd like for it to be? So, which is just the greatest thing.
And with or without God language, for someone to hear, I'm good, I'm part of what is ultimately good, that's never going to change, I can't be rejected from the good. I promise you, that's the first time some people have ever heard that.
Yes.
Right.
And it's life-saving.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you work with, go ahead. I like to hear.
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
It was sort of steering to another area of your ministry, but if you have any more to say about this, I'd like to hear it, about the urban angels.
Just invite people, if they'd like to see more information or see what it looks like, www.urbanstreetangels.org.
Urbanstreetangels.org.
And let me just say that, and I get this question when I'm speaking in other places, and because of course I'm always talking about Urban Street Angels, people will say, well, gee, I wonder if we could do this in Chicago, or I wonder if we could do this in Fort Lauderdale, or I wonder if we could do this in Dallas. And the answer is you absolutely can. We can. We have the boilerplate for this to happen in cities across the country, because we found in San Diego, and I bet it's true everywhere, that more than 50% of chronically homeless people were homeless at this age. So we believe that as we break the cycle of homelessness by targeting youth at this age, get them into housing, get them into employment, get them into recovery if they need it, begin to allow them to change their beliefs about themselves and life. And that's how we break the cycle of homelessness.
Yeah. We say that God is love, but we also say that we are God. If we're not going to show the love, then all the rest is just platitudes.
Yes.
If we are love in action, then that's God. And that's what you're doing.
And that's such a big part. And thank you for that. That's so much a big part of this, is showing that unconditional love that these youth may have never experienced before. So that's so much a big part of this.
I wonder, after working and with grief all these years, if grief and addictions are related. If someone has not addressed their grief, that they may be trying to reach for something outside of themselves to numb that pain. So do you ever work with youth about acknowledging the losses? Maybe, not just death, grief.
And particularly meth, in the LGBTQ community, especially young people, meth is a big, big problem.
Yes. And in the recovery community, and I talk about this in my workshop, many recovery communities talk about HALT. Do not eat that, drink that, steal that, do that if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So all of those, what we call negative emotions, I can't deal with this, so I'm going to finish that bottle of red wine, or order that large pizza, or go buy something on Amazon, or take that or smoke that or snort that or whatever. So absolutely.
You're meddling a little bit. You're meddling.
Well, no, but
I'm a late night purchaser when I'm not focused.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. All right. But,
it's true though, isn't it?
So we do it, but allow ourselves to do it consciously. So
but it's true. Very true.
We have great discussions with our youth about that, because imagine I'm in foster care. Mm-hmm. I might have the belief that my birth parents abandoned me. Mm-hmm. And now I've aged out of foster care and my foster family has abandoned me and kicked me out on the street. My God, no pun intended.
And that's a very tender age, because you're meant to be an adult at 18. Most people don't even know what they want to do in life. They can't even parallel park. Maybe they can't even drive yet until 25, 28, 30. There is this interim period that people just don't think about. Mm-hmm. And it's super, super important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I think it's trauma in general that causes people to become addicted, whether it's drugs or alcohol, sex, food, gambling, whatever it is. It's a need for escapism. And what can be more traumatic than coming to terms with your own sexuality and then telling your parents, and your parents saying, "We don't want you here anymore. Get out."
Yep.
What could be more traumatic? Worth noting that Reverend Jeff is a clinician on top of it all. He has an MSW. He's also a clinician on top of everything.
Yeah. What could be more traumatic than the kids at school finding out when you didn't want them to know, and then you end up getting beat up, whatever. And I think that is probably that need for escapism probably contributes to a lot of society's ills, not only addictions to substances, but to obesity. It's food. Even
now you're meddling.
Yeah, I know, right?
Y'all. Get out of my business, y'all.
and the current social climate here, there are a lot of angry people out there, and angry people are hurt people, and hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
So I think that what you're doing is great work. It's a lot of work. There's still so much more to be done, but you're knocking it out, and kudos to you all for that.
Thank you.
Now, do you have anything you want to let the world to know about Anton?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Tell us about the affiliated New Thought network. That's important stuff.
Thank you. So it's been, what are we, we're about 33 years old. We are a membership organization of religious science, Centers for Spiritual Living, Divine Science, Unity, UFBL, and Hillside, and Agape. I think I got everybody. And anybody else you can think of in New Thought. Centers, churches, organizations, ministers, practitioners, licensed Unity teachers, and individuals. So you don't need any alphabet soup before or after your name to be active and be a member of Anton. We are just over 200 members across the world. We are so excited about that. So we have members in other countries as well. And we meet, this will be our 6th or 7th year where we meet at Unity Village outside of Kansas City, the first week of October, the 6th through the 10th of October, to come together for what really feels like the family reunion. Ricky Byers is our music director. Reverend Dr. Martha Creek is what obviously, as so many of us know and love and adore, is one of our active members. And Tuesday night of that week, we will be doing the Raise the Roof event at the new Goppert Center at Unity Village. And so we're inviting all the New Thought centers and churches and organizations and individuals from major metro Kansas City to come and join us for this free evening and concert and gathering.
Nice.
So we're so excited about that. But in addition to the retreat, throughout the month, we do really cool things like Thought Leader Thursday, the last Thursday of each month at 9:00 a.m. Pacific time, where we invite a new thought author or luminary or leader to come and talk for an hour about who they are and what they do in the world. And that is open and free and available to everybody. We do quarterly workshops. Mary Morrissey will be with us in September to do our quarterly workshop, and just a variety of offerings for the general public at no cost. And then there's some great benefits for being a member as well. Like the workshop is free. There's a discount for the retreat retreat attendance, and a variety of other things. But really,
this network has affiliations with Anthem.
Yes, yeah. Right, absolutely. So our mission is connecting the New Thought movement through consciousness and love, and so we are continuing to do that with a goal of 250 members by the end of the year. And so I just absolutely know it's just been an amazing year so far, and I absolutely know that we'll hit that number, and then the best is yet to be.
You have centers, you have individuals, you have a school, you have online work. I'm brand new to New Thought. I'm loving it. I've read 3 or 4 books. I'm finding what should I plug into first? Should I try to go to one of these online meetings? Should I take a class at Emerson? Should I look for a center? What's my point of entry?
If you're not sure about the teaching, if you're just not 100%, join us at a Thought Leader Thursday to learn more. Go on our website, www.antn.org. For more information, you can see view past sessions of the Thought Leader Thursday, get more information and about some other events, and then look for a community. There may be a community in your general area, and get more involved. Yes.
Okay, y'all. I hate to be the time police, but I got to be the time police. We have one more little piece of business. We need to remind you that this is Divine Science Everywhere, and we are on the New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome back. We're glad that you're here. So thank you for joining us today, Reverend Dr. Jerry. And
it's really my pleasure, you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm really inspired by the work that you're doing and also the work that Anton is doing too. I also am a member and I really appreciate it. And as a New Thought leader, I've been invited to the monthly prayer group on
oh, very good.
And I just really, really appreciate being part of that. So thank you. All right. So next week, our guest is Reverend Charlene Manuel with Unity, as well as the Parliament of World Religions. That should be a very interesting conversation. And the following week is Reverend Kathy Harwood Long, a Unity minister, and she's very, very interested in conservation and the protection of Earth and different ways that we can contribute to that. So until next week, this is Divine Science Everywhere, and this means God in all, through all, as all. And just remember, we are here on New Thought Media Network. Look forward to seeing you again, and please do like and share this program.
And thank you, Dr. Jerry, very much.
Yes.
My pleasure. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.